Life of an artist. Learn more right after this.
I'm transferring to the University of West Georgia.
Columbia University.
Kennesaw State.
UGA.
Loyola University in Chicago.
Grambling State.
Shorter University.
I'm going to Greensboro College, and we all got our start at Georgia Highlands.
No matter where your educational journey takes you, you can get your start at Georgia Highlands College. Georgia Highlands College. Enroll, engage, excel.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg,
Doc,
how you doing?
fine, yourself?
All right. We got a new set.
Yeah, we do.
It's nice. Huh?
Nice. Yeah, it's different.
To
Artistic.
get used to it. So I kind of, it's sort of putting us in the art mode, isn't it?
It is. I was just thinking about how nice it actually is. You know, imperfect, but perfect, I guess, you know. Imperfect piece of wood, but a perfect piece of art.
And Jeff did this. He obviously has too much time on his hands.
Jeff, I guess we have to consider Jeff an artist as well, don't we?
Has he got like a price tag stuck on the front of him?
I don't know,
Okay.
But it's nice.
It is nice, very nice. And we're talking about art today. Our guest is Jeremy Smith, who's a local sculptor.
You know
very
everybody.
interesting work.
You know a lot of people.
Well, you know some people.
A lot of interesting people. Let me change that.
Well,
a lot of interesting people.
There are really a lot of people doing interesting things.
Yeah.
Close by. You know, we're always kind of surprised. And
I
am. So we'll talk to Jeremy about his work and look at some samples of it, and it'll be a really interesting show. So I want you to stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and we're very happy to have with us today artist Jeremy Smith. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good. To be here. So, Jeremy, your entry into the world of art is an interesting story, I think, because it hadn't been something you've been doing a long time, is it?
No, not a long time ago. Since October of 2012. And before that, pretty much nothing visually art-minded at all. I mean, pretty much 37 years of my life just treading water, basically. Just like, yeah, what am I here for? And then finally, I found it.
2012?
Yes.
That's kind of fascinating. I mean, I was thinking you've like all your life probably, you know, kind of, because I'm not a art critic, but the work is nice. So I'm thinking you've like spent years and years honing your skills, and you know, kind of got to a point where, you know, you're here, you arrived, you're this artist. But you're saying 2012 you just kind of took off.
And honestly, yeah, that's just with the pumpkins and the hand carved stuff. I've only been using a chainsaw for a year.
Wow.
And those you'll get to see some of this work in a little bit, so you'll
wow.
see why we're impressed with that.
Very impressed.
But what happened then? I mean, that led you to sculpting?
Oh, Laziness. Yeah. My wife asked me to carve a pumpkin for her pre-K class, and it wasn't even a, hey, Jeremy, I think you'd be really good at this task. You seem like a very art-minded person. No, it was a, God, I don't want to do that. Hey, you want to carve this pumpkin? And then I said, sure, because I was bored. And then I got online, I Googled it, and apparently pumpkin carving has come a long way since the triangle eyes and the gap tooth.
I did that last year.
And, you know, I carved about 3 pumpkins in 2012, but they ran out shortly afterwards. But the fire was lit, the passion was there, and I looked around for whatever I could find. Carrots, candles, styrofoam blocks, you name it. If I could put a dent in it, or chip it, or scratch it, or scrape it, or cut it, I would carve it. And finally, in April of 2013, my friend and neighbor gave me a piece of firewood from his firewood pile, and I said, give that to me. And I got a Dremel to it. A Dremel's a little small handheld tool. I don't know how familiar you are with Dremels. And cut on that thing for 4 months in my spare time. And at this point, you know, I had friends and coworkers and family members that I'm sure thought I was crazy, and at that point they might have had a point to call them, because I just spent an insane amount of time just trying to figure out how to do these things that, you know, nobody ever taught me how to do this. And then I wound up selling that very first wood carving for enough, just enough, to barely get into the chainsaw carving game.
So, no artistic interest or activity leading up to this at all? Just sort of boom?
Well, I mean, I've tried to be a stand-up comedian. I've played music on stage. I've done different things, but nothing visual arts. No painting, no drawing. It's just something I never had much of an aptitude for. I still can't draw very well. I'm terrible with 2 dimensions.
So, but if y'all forgive me, because I'm still kind of because you know, I was privileged to see some of the work earlier, and I'm thinking that really that this is something you've been doing for years, and so you just picked up like the first pumpkin you carved. I mean, did it turn out like great? Did you? I mean, what happened in the process of carving that pumpkin? Did the light came on for you that you knew this is something you could do and you was good at?
It is something about spatial intelligence. I don't know if that's even a word, but my friend Bob King, Bob King says that carving, you know, you basically have to look at things and understand the spatial relationships and so forth. He refers to that as a spatial intelligence. I think, I don't know, man, I'm not a psychologist, but yeah, just.
So you could see it. So when you saw the pumpkin, you could see virtually the image and how you needed to, and I guess how you'd have to go about creating those different dimensions.
Okay, let me be fair, just in case someone finds me on Facebook and finds that first pumpkin, because I did post it on Facebook. I don't think it's very awesome, but it was awesome enough to let me know that, hey, maybe there's some potential here. And as far as the means to do it, the implements, clay sculpting ribbon tools purchased at Michael's. You can bleep out Michael's if that's a plug.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
They do sell those.
Yeah. Now, from pumpkins to some of the work that you have done more recently that requires chainsaw, and I think I'm gonna have some questions about how that works too. But that's a big leap.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So. Was it kind of a natural progression once you'd started this thing?
It was the end goal. Basically, once I started carving on that piece of wood, and it started looking like what I wanted it to look like, and I started to feel like you can use a Dremel all day long, and you could be the best Dremel carver on planet Earth, but you will still not get the same kind of street cred respect as the worst chainsaw carver. Something about the tool, but yeah, I wanted to get into bigger monumental works, and there's a TV show on at the time called Saw Dogs, and it just really blew my mind. I really wanted to carve large pieces of wood.
Yeah. Now, see, you know, and we can talk about this in the next segment, especially when we've had a chance to look at some of your pieces. But it would seem to me that the chainsaw would be a very awkward instrument to do detailed artwork with. I mean, because it would be so easy to screw up a piece of wood with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And your pieces really are quite detailed and impressive in a way I wouldn't have expected. I would think it would be hard to use a chainsaw to come up with some of the work you've done. So I mean, can you be delicate with a chainsaw?
Oh yeah, it could be delicate. There's a guy named Ray Murphy that used to carve his alphabet on pencils for people at fairs. It's something that predates me, honestly. But you can be. I'm sure that I know there are people that are better with a saw than I am.
Yeah.
But basically, the saw blocks it out to a certain point, and then once you get down to a certain level of detail, you got to use a smaller tool and a smaller tool.
So it's a progression piece. You start with the piece of wood, and so you just kind of form what you want with the chainsaw.
Yeah.
Then as you get to more detailed work, you have to. I know I've watched on some of those carving shows that you talk about, and it's impressive because I guess being a non-artist, you know, the fact that you can just look at a piece of wood and you have this vision about what you want it to be, and then to be able to do that. I mean, I guess that's one of the gifts, is that you have that kind of vision to see that piece in the image, and then to be able to make it happen. Because, you know, in that show, people made mistakes, but they would fix it. They would just flow with it. And
See,
so
I really didn't want you to bring that up, but yeah, basically carving, especially when you're carving into a piece of wood, like say this table, for example. Don't worry, I'm not going to try to carve into it. But once you get to that little knot right there, whatever your plan was, it's going to have to change. So a lot of times it's not so much who has the better plan, but who can make better backup plans on the fly.
And you've gotten to a point where you're doing some pieces that are quite large now.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I still want to go bigger though.
Yeah. So what is the biggest piece that you've carved
Currently,
so far?
the 12-foot spiraling totem pole that I showed you earlier. It's got the soaring eagle up top, and then an Indian chief, and then a horse head, and then some wolves.
And what was it that you started with there? Was it a stump or?
Yes, this wonderful, wonderful commissioner, this patron of the arts. She's spoiling me, honestly. She's kind of ruining my career for the future. She's been so nice. She gave me the perfect piece of wood. She basically had it cut down, this tree. It was healthy to begin with, but had it cut down for other reasons at 12 feet tall because she wanted something carved out of it. And usually I don't get a hold of them until they're short, and I'm the backup plan.
Yeah.
But I was the first plan, so yeah, that was so awesome.
So I'm curious now, since you started doing chainsaw work, roughly how many pieces have you produced?
That spiraling totem pole,
Mm-hmm.
that was my 22nd one.
Wow. And so
Someday I'll get really good at this.
So how much time does it, on average, does it take to do a piece? Is there a time frame you give yourself, or is it like the 4-month Dremel piece?
Well, honestly, here at this stage in my life, most of my work is commissions. People, like, I have a commission waiting list. It's awesome. But, basically, you know, we agree to a specific price, and I try not to screw myself over too hard. But usually, I'm just trying to make art. You know, I'm not even trying to make money at this stage. So I usually wind up spending too much time on each piece, but it's so worth it, to me at least. I don't know. It's what I'm here for, and not everybody gets to know that.
But it's fascinating to me that you're this, and you've obviously been captured by this passion for this work that was totally absent from your life for a long time, and then boom, there it is. So I think that really is encouraging in a way.
Very encouraging. So that means we still
have hope.
Hope.
We might find something.
We're gonna figure something out.
We are coming up on a break here in a few seconds. When we come back, we're going to look at some samples of Jeremy's work, and you'll get a sense of why we're so impressed. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're talking with artist Jeremy Smith, sculptor, and we have here some photographs of some of Jeremy's work. So we're going to look at those, and Jeremy, you might maybe tell us about some of the things that we look at as we see them.
Okay, that's the tree stump that the Trail of Tears memorial was carved from. As you can see, it's not terribly tall. And
so you carved that while it was still in the ground? On this,
and that's the sketch that the Trail of Tears Association asked for. I told you I can't draw very well, but it sort of turned out that way. That's my 21st wood carving, by the way.
So is that the one stump?
That is one stump. And I originally sold the city on the idea of two people walking on the Trail of Tears, but then I just kept looking at the stump and like, there's a third person there. That'll tell a better story. So the man represents the anger, the woman represents the sadness, and the child represents the fear that the Cherokee people felt when they were forced on the Trail of Tears.
Wow.
Where is that now?
That's in Big Spring Park in Cedartown.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, making money, like people paying me to carve stuff for them, that's so awesome. It really is. This piece, so many Cherokee people told me thank you for making that. You can't put a dollar value on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are the first two bears I carved. The one on the left, it's simple because it's for a child. I just wanted to state that. The one on the right I did for my dad. Merry Christmas, birthday, Christmas, birthday. Christmas.
Now, was this a chainsaw piece or?
Originally, both of them were, yeah. But like as you can see on that bear bust is only about 10 inches tall or so. Wanted to put a lot of detail in with the fur. It's like I said, the first one is goofy little bear for kids. Wanted to make it a little more serious.
Now we were talking about this one before the show, the I Can't Breathe piece, which is really, and we can see it much better here than we was. That's very impressive. That's very impressive.
Now, is that in your private collection, or was that a commission piece, or?
That was, yeah, I'd have to say, I guess, private collection for the moment. It's supposed to be donated somewhere soon, according to some friends of mine. But basically, it's a three-dimensional sculpture in a round of a hand holding a cell phone, and on the other end of the cell phone is a two-dimensional relief, high relief carving depicting a scene that I'm sure we've all seen.
But how do you? I'm just amazed at how you can just see that. I mean, that's what really blows me away, that you can see the wood and then you can see that in the wood.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm not artistic at all. I just see the wood. I don't see, you know, you shave this off, you take a little bit here, you know, just the whole process. Because that's a lot of different layers, I guess.
Oh yeah.
To create such an image with that kind of depth and that kind of precision to create the image that you really want.
Well, really, the only metaphor in that picture is the eyeball that replaces the camera lens. But okay, that was my log pile, and the The picture on the right, that is a stylized rose. That was actually my first commission. So, I don't know. It was a good little flower.
Now, these pieces have a great deal of detail, and I would think the petals on this rose would be hugely difficult to pull off. I don't know. For someone who says he can't draw, the detail of these pieces is pretty impressive.
Well, thank you.
Now, do you draw out every piece first, or do you freehand some of them?
Yeah, freehand.
Yeah.
And this was, I actually got to see this the other day, and it's still just awesomely preserved. This was my very first wood carving. This was the piece that I worked on with a Dremel for 4 months, and people called me crazy. And I called it the grin, but no one else has ever called. That's one thing that they don't tell you in art school that I didn't go to, is that anything that I name a piece that I do, no one will ever call it that. It's some kind of weird thing where nobody cares what I call my work.
Well, if you keep it in your private collection.
You got me there. And those are a couple pumpkins I did in 2013, which, as you'll note from your timeline, was only 1 year after I started carving pumpkins.
Now, I would think, just on, at Halloween alone, people might be very interested in having a Jeremy Smith pumpkin.
They are, and let me tell you, last October was insane. I made it, but barely.
Now, what do you use? You obviously don't use a chainsaw here. What do you use on the pumpkins?
Clay sculpting ribbon tools, basically little knives that are curved around on themselves, attached to a stick. And yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with those. And X-Acto knives, like little hobby knives. And that was the Brave. That was carved from, as you can see, it's cracking. It's a terrible piece of wood to try to carve something out of. But the reason why I used that wood was because it was harvested from one of the trees they took down from Broad Street. So that piece right there is a piece of Roman history in a way. And I wanted to make a Cherokee Brave what they looked like before we got here. And according to the Heather at the Chieftains Museum, I did all right. And according to, I forgot her name by now, but the education director at the Cherokee Museum in North Carolina checked it out and said that was.
Now, with these wood pieces, do you do something to preserve them in some way after you finished?
Polyurethane.
Yeah.
This is like, if you see a lot of my wood carvings, like they look all shiny, it's because I just put the poly on. But that stains it and protects it, especially the stump jobs that are outside.
So that would hopefully prevent them from cracking too quickly or drying out, or.
If you can find something that will prevent wood from cracking entirely, let me know. We will both be gazillionaires, honestly.
So that's an ongoing issue.
Yeah, I mean, wood is a natural living medium, you know, and it's got imperfections and it's going to crack, but that's kind of one of the appeals to it.
So I'm thinking, Jeremy, just listening to your talk and going back to the pumpkins and now to the wood carvings and to the chainsaw carving, that not only have you found what you're here for, what you're passionate about, but you really have to become educated around this, you know, like preserving the woods, and learn how to judge good pieces of wood for carving. I mean, so you really probably have to do a lot of work on the side just to educate yourself about this field.
Oh yeah. I mean, all the time. I'm always thinking about what I do and always trying to learn about new things. And there's a billion things that I don't know about what I do. Like, I have no practical skills. I've never used a chainsaw in my life till I picked one up to carve with. And they're a different subject entirely.
Yeah. I
mean, I'm an indoor cat, you know. I'm used to hanging out.
Stand-up comedian, huh?
Yeah. So all this being outside in the sun, and power tools, what?
But that's I'm just very impressed
Well,
because
thank
I wouldn't have known you've just been doing this relatively short period of time. It just seems like the quality of the work, and not just based on me, the fact that you got a commission list. There are other people that believe in your work and the quality of it, but for that short period of time. So I guess this is a very exciting time for you because really, what's next? I mean, what's next? You've been so successful, it seems like, in a short period of time. I'm quite sure as an artist, you just keep thinking about, okay, what's bigger and bigger and more complicated.
Well, what's next? God, I'd love to know that. I don't know what's next. All I know is that the future does kind of seem bright. Mostly because the sun did something in my eyes the other day. But yeah, I don't know what's next, and it's so great. I'm looking at the future. I don't feel fearful about the future. And that's a totally new thing to me. I've been dirt poor all my life, right? And I actually have a tiny little bit of money in the bank, and
you got people that want to give you more money.
For me, this art thing, it represents nothing short of class ascension for myself and for my kid, and that's pretty powerful to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But to do it through something that you love has to be the ultimate, to get paid. I mean, that's what we tell kids. If you can find someone to pay you for what you're passionate about, it's not a job. It's not work. You would do it for free.
I would do it for free.
Yeah.
I would not do it for free. If anybody wanting to commission something and saw this, please don't.
But so now you're looking for something even bigger. I mean, you've done was it 12 foot, did you say?
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go out west, honestly. They've got the bigger stuff there, the redwoods.
The redwoods are next.
I mean, not that I would cut down, but there's old growth available.
Yeah, I've
it's
seen
just
some of those
really
shows.
expensive, but yeah.
Well, in the meantime, you've got plenty of stumps around here.
Oh gosh, do I ever? And people keep telling me about them left and right.
Well, we're coming up on another break, and when we get back, I'll give you some contact information so that if you have a stump that could be something else, something spectacular, you might want to contact him. So stay with us. I'll be right back. We'll be right back after this.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and you're looking at some more examples of Jeremy Smith's sculptures. If you are interested in contacting Jeremy or want to see some more of his work, go to this website, www.otherlevelsculptures.com, otherlevelsculptures.com, all is one word, or call him at 706-331-0837.
And he's on Facebook, I do believe.
And you're on Facebook.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeremy, for being with us, and very impressed.
Yeah, we need a commission piece.
Right here.
Shows.
And thank you for being with us this week on Community Watch. We'll see you next time. Bye now.